What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today, joined by my co-hosts, Anthony Rivardo and Will Cohen. Today, we're going live. The Rangers play in a couple hours, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Carolina Hurricanes, a familiar opponent. We've been leading up to this all week. We've had a lot of rest, but it's time to really get into the nitty-gritty of it all, preview the game with you guys, the fans. So to everyone that's just joining us this afternoon, be sure to blow up that comment section below. Anything you want us to talk about, certainly put it there and we'll bring it up. But before we really get into it, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss notification. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms too, because those are pretty cool. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just excited for Rangers hockey, 4 o'clock. It's going to be a really fun time versus the Hurricanes. It's going to be a tough series. Should be tougher than the one we just played against Capitals, but I'm feeling really good about this New York Rangers team. Love Peter Laviolette. Still pissed off that he was snubbed and didn't get a nomination for Coach of the Year. We'll probably talk about that at some point in this live stream. But yeah, just looking forward to Game 1, looking forward to the series, and really excited to see the bread man make some fresh bread.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely cooking. The bread is in the oven, and hopefully he's going to pop off. Will, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing very good. I have my doggy here. He's watching his eyelids. I have the Yankees game on to my left. Thank God that they're on today before the Rangers play at 4. But I'm very excited. It's been a week, obviously, since we swept the Capitals. So I'm excited to watch some Rangers hockey again for the first time in a week.
Yeah, it's been a little boring just waiting for the second round. As we always said, it was a bittersweet feeling because we swept and that was awesome. But then I had to wait, and I've just been doing nothing. We got a couple people in the chat. My mom's here. Apparently, my aunt says hi. Hi, Aunt Susie. Dylan's here in the chat. Got a couple people here. Jimmy says, "Let's go. Everyone favors the Kings. We need to show them what the Rangers are about." That is true. The Rangers are underdogs in this series, which personally I don't get. We have home ice. We won the President's Trophy, but for some reason, we're underdogs. And what do you think about that, Tony? Like, I feel like it's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's a bet that I'd like to take. I'm not really much of a betting man, but I don't know. When the team wins the President's Trophy, sweeps their first round opponent, and goes into the second round, I'm not really sure how that team is the underdog in that second round. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of where we want to be, though. We don't want too much hype and excitement, right? I mean, you talk all the time about the President's Trophy curse, so I guess maybe the Rangers being underdogs here is more of a good thing if you want to look at it from that perspective. I guess that's something we can be grateful for.
I'm personally grateful for it. I don't need the spotlight like we had last year and heading into that first round against the Devils. That was too much, and we all know how that ended. Will, I want to ask you quick because I know you probably watched it last night. The Boston and Toronto Game 7 overtime goal. That series ended, and for some reason, the NHL scheduling has us playing at 4 to start the second round. But then the first round goes back to continuing after we're done. Like, what's up with that?
I just think it's because it's Central Time, so they're not going to have them play at 4. Would that be 2 o'clock on a Sunday? I guess, but I don't know. I'm a little confused by that as well. But I'm not too sure why they're doing it. But I think it's really just because we're on the East Coast and Dallas is in Central Time, so it's really 2 o'clock their time, I guess. So, oh no, 5 o'clock their time. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. That is weird. I feel like they would. Well, yeah, they're 2 hours behind. So if they're playing at 2 o'clock, then they'd be playing at 12. It's a little hard to schedule that with East Coast and Central Time. So I don't know, but still a little weird in my opinion.
I just don't get why the NHL wouldn't wait. Like, let the first round wrap up and then maybe start us tomorrow. I mean, I know there's scheduling with the NBA as well. Like the Knicks are still in it. MSG can't be having 2 games at the same time, but it's just weird to me. I know we talked about it last stream. We were like, we're definitely not going to play Sunday if Vegas goes to Game 7. But here we are, and it's Rangers game day. What did I just see here in the chat? Roderick, welcome back, my man. Over under 2 hours like last weekend. Hopefully under. I'm not in the mood to make another feature-length film at the moment. But we'll see. Who knows? We weren't supposed to go that long last time. James here says, what would you say if Henrik Lundqvist was to replace Joe Micheletti when he retires? You know what? I'd be happy with it. Lundqvist has been doing a lot on ESPN, and I think he's done a phenomenal job. I love Joe Micheletti, but who knows, when he retires, it'd be a cool replacement. We all love Hank, the king. Gentleman advantage, goalie Igor in 6. Fabrizio, that was an interesting way to phrase that. I've always said Rangers in 6. I'm a big fan. But Tony, while we let the chat fill up here, how do the Rangers win this series? What's your biggest thing? Is it Igor? Is it the goalie advantage?
The goalie advantage is a big part of it. I think the other part of it is special teams. As we discussed in our 3 Keys episode that we did earlier this week, talking about how good the Hurricanes special teams is and how the Rangers need to have a plan to counteract that. Otherwise, this series could not go in their favor. So they're going to have to do well on special teams in order to have a good chance. But Igor Shesterkin is kind of like the backbone of this team. If he's playing well, he can save them from a lot of their flaws. And so if they find themselves in a tricky situation, Igor can pull a rabbit out of a hat, and he can be a reason that a team wins, even when, they're not playing well. So goalie advantage is definitely a huge one, but it can't just be the goalie advantage. If it was just about the goalies, the Rangers would probably be winning Stanley Cups far more frequently because they've had great goalkeeping for the past umpteenth seasons, right? Every year. So, it's not always just about the goalie advantage as much of an important factor as it is. There are other aspects to the game, including, like I said, the special teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, us as Rangers fans, we know what it feels like to have a goalie carry you year in and year out for like the last 15 years. Started with Lundqvist, now it's Igor. And as good as the goaltending is, it unfortunately isn't enough to win you a championship on your own. But Will, I know you missed the episode we did 3 Keys to Beating the Hurricanes. What would you say is the biggest thing for you? How do we get this job done?
Following the formula. There's someone I follow who's very big into analytics, Rob Luker. If you like analytics, go follow him. But have somewhat decent 5v5 numbers, do well on special teams, and then have Igor Shesterkin to back you up in that way. But that's what the Rangers need to do. I think the biggest thing is playing well at 5v5. They really need to tap into that. I know that they've kind of not been struggling, but they're not the biggest. They're not the sexiest team at 5v5, but that's really what the Carolina Hurricanes are best at. So they need to match that and their speed and be physical on them with them as well.
Mm-hmm. I know, unfortunately, like NYR for life, you were pointed out when we were talking about the underdog thing. The Canes do beat us in power play, penalty kill, and 5v5, just overall from the regular season. I know we talked about it as well in that 3 Keys episode. The special teams is going to be incredibly important. Rangers were 3rd overall in the NHL in both power play and penalty kill. Somehow, some way, the Canes have us beaten both. 2nd best power play, league leading penalty kill. So the 5v5, like you said, Will, in particular, extremely important. I know the Rangers have struggled with it a little bit throughout the regular season, but just looking back at that first round against Washington, 5v5 did perform quite well. I know the amount of even strength goals we had was the exact same as the amount of power play goals. So it's refreshing to see us not completely rely on special teams right now. Mika Zibanejad had a great first round leading the Rangers in points. So as long as I think him in particular is able to keep it up, as well as Kreider, I think we should have a fair chance at beating them. But one player that I do want to talk about quick before we get back into the comments here is Artemi Panarin. We've talked about him quite a bit and how he performed in the first round. I think the Rangers might need a little bit more from him. I know there were a couple games against the Capitals where he didn't really have room to do his thing because we were shorthanded so much. But look at the Carolina Hurricanes, probably the most depth-filled team in the entire league. I think you said it last time we recorded, Will. All 4 lines that the Hurricanes have the ability to score. Evgeny Kuznetsov is on their 4th line. They're a dangerous team. So they're going to be scoring quite a bit no matter how well Igor plays. We need guys like Panarin to kind of step up, really do what he did in the regular season and continue to perform. But that's my analysis on Panarin. Tony, do you feel similarly, or what's your thoughts on Panarin?
I think Panarin is kind of the engine of this team right now. Everything that he does on the second line and the way that he sets up the rest of the team, the way that he plays with aggression. I think that one thing that you could say about that first round series with the Capitals, we kind of talked about, I think you could have taken one of 2 perspectives on his play. You could say that maybe he was a little bit inconsistent in some ways because he had 7 shots on goal in the first game, then 0. And, it was like the shots weren't always consistently being put up. But I don't think that it was inconsistency. I think it was more so Panarin being smart, taking what the defense is giving him and playing according to that plan. That's kind of how I interpreted his performance in the first round, which I think is a pretty stark contrast to how he performed in the first round of last year's postseason, where it felt like he was forcing his hand too much, a lot of giveaways, the passes were not as decisive. It felt like he put himself into a box and was like, I have to be this type of playmaker and I have to play in this style. So I'm going to do that no matter what. And that ultimately hurt him, hurt the team. And obviously we got bounced in the first round. But in this year's first round, it was more take what the defense gives you, be the playmaker that the game plan calls for me to be on a game by game basis. So it wasn't like I got to put up 7 shots on goal every single game. It was, okay, today I'm noticing this nuance in the defensive game plan. So I am putting up 7 shots. Okay, now in this game, it's different. I'm not going to have that opportunity. I'm going to be more of a playmaker and set up my teammates. So that's really how I've kind of interpreted Panarin's play through this postseason so far. And I think that's been ultimately the key to the team's success, is that there isn't any kind of selfish performances on the ice from the Rangers right now. Everyone is really just playing according to a plan, and it's a frequently changing plan. It's not like it's in a box. And that's really what I've been praising Laviolette for all season long, is that there's been great adjustments from this team. They've been able to adapt their play based on their opponent, based on their personnel, who's injured and, who's available and who is the hot hand in the lineup. So all of that to say, I'm confident in Panarin right now because he's confident. He said it at the end of last year's first round against the Devils. He lost his confidence. He put himself into a box. He didn't know what he was doing, and he started to kind of handicap himself. We're not seeing that right now. He's very decisive. This team is just clicking. So I am feeling really confident in Panarin. And like I said, he is the engine that drives this team. And as long as he continues to play and take what the defense gives him, not lose his confidence and not put himself in the box or force himself to play a certain style, he just keeps playing the way that he's playing. I think this Rangers team is going to continue to find success behind him.
Yeah, you might have just cooked right there. That was a phenomenal analysis.
Yeah, it was.
I agree with everything you just said right there, Will. I mean, I know you're a big Panarin fan, just like myself. Is there anything you wanted to add about him? What do you think he needs to do, or keep doing, for that matter?
He just needs to keep himself relaxed. That's what helped him be so, like Anthony said. Obviously, he had 7 shots on goal in the first game, and in the second game he had none. But it's going on game plan, but he looked relaxed. Like, it wasn't like he was forcing anything. He wasn't trying to do too much. He was going out there and was playing relaxed, and that was completely different from how he looked in the first round of the 2022 playoff. 2023 playoffs. I apologize, against the Devils. Like, he was frustrated. He was swinging his stick against the boards. I remember one time he missed a breakaway, and I think he just slammed his stick against the end walls, and it didn't, anytime something didn't go his way against the Capitals, he just looked up at the video board, went to the bench, looked at the tablet to see what he did wrong, but he always looked relaxed, and that's what the Rangers need him to do now. But obviously, they didn't need him as much last series as they're going to this series, because obviously it's the Capitals. Everyone was performing on all cylinders and going on all cylinders, but this series, I think he's going to be the X factor for the Rangers. He just needs to stay relaxed, not get into his head like he did against the Devils, and the stats will show up on the score sheet. So that's what I think he needs to do.
He'll do it. It's Panarin. He's going to get the job done. Steve, I see Steven Land here in the chat. Welcome back. Yes, we do have our lucky jerseys on. For anyone watching that's new or missed the live stream where we broke it all down. For game 1, I wore my Alexi Lafreniere jersey. I know for a fact Will's wearing Panarin, even though I can't see the numbers right now.
I am.
And we're just going to keep wearing them. We're going to keep wearing them until we lose. These jerseys are cooking right now. We haven't lost a single game yet. And, Stephen Lamb does say that Anthony needs to have one too. But Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the first 4 games of the playoffs, did you ever wear a jersey?
I did not. So maybe the luck from my end, don't wear a jersey.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't want to change things up. Yeah, everything has stayed the same.
I do need to get a Breadman jersey though, like ASAP. I got to get myself a nice number 10 Panarin jersey.
I was gonna say, if you were gonna get a jersey, like who would you get? I would have thought you would have went Trocheck.
It would be any of those 3 guys on the second line, because I also love Lafreniere. So him, Trocheck, Panarin, any of those 3 guys. I feel like Panarin, though, the season that he's had, that's the safe bet. If you want to get a jersey, you can always get a Panarin jersey.
Yeah, we do know that during his free time, Alexi Lafreniere does like to hit the clubs in downtown Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
It's better than Matt Rempe. It was confirmed recently that during his free time, Rempe and Kreider just play Halo on Xbox. So, if it works, it works. Do whatever you need to do. It's like how Panarin has just been making bread, like actual bread. Mika Zibanejad is a Swedish DJ during his off. The Rangers have so much character to them. They're not a boring team. Everyone's hilarious.
Chris Kreider can speak multiple languages, like freaking octuplet lingual, whatever. However you say. He can play the piano, really play the violin. I'm pretty sure he can do a lot. That guy is uber talented.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And then you have a guy like Kreider who can speak 8 languages, and then there's Panarin who can speak like half of a language.
Maybe it's not 8. Let me look it up, and I'll get back to you. It might be like 3 or 4, but it's nuts. Like he's very, very smart, intellectual guy.
I've always been saying, like, we know it's confirmed the NHL is going to make like a docu-series next season, keeping track of like 10 different players around the league. I don't know if Panarin would want to do it, but if he says yes, I think Panarin needs to be in consideration to be on that show.
I lied. It's not 8. It's only 2, but he's fluent in Spanish and Russian, which is still very impressive. So he can speak 3 languages, which is very impressive for him.
Knowing Russian in the NHL is probably very helpful.
Yeah, and he can play the piano too very well. So there you go. Very talented man on and off the ice.
I've learned something new today. But yeah, no, Anthony, you got to get yourself a Panarin jersey. We could all wear our Panarin jerseys one day together.
I do. Yeah, I really got to get a Panarin jersey. Or you do make a compelling argument, though, as the resident Italian of the podcast. I mean, you're Italian too, but I look really Italian, so and I always get commented on that. I do got to get myself a Trocheck jersey as well. I think that's a necessity.
I kind of want to get one too. And it's a safe pick because he's signed for another 6 years. He's playing good. Like
at the end of the year, I'm gonna plug this. At the end of the year, when a team gets eliminated in the playoffs, Cool Hockey will do sales on eliminated teams' jerseys. So there you go.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know because I have terrible jersey luck. Like in the past, I bought a Ryan Callahan captain jersey, and like a week later, got traded. One time I ordered a Carl Hagelin jersey online, and in the few days that I ordered it to when it arrived, he was traded. Ooh. So like there's been a couple. I bought this is the worst one. I used to have a Jimmy Vesey jersey, and then we traded him, and I got angry, and I cut the sleeves off of it, and I made it a tank top because I was like, why do I need this jersey anymore? And then years later, Vesey returned, and here we are. So never going to do that again. So that's why when I buy jerseys, I'm very careful about who I pick. Lafreniere, he'll be here for a while. I know that. So I can't have the jersey curse continue with me. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Freddie here says, not sure if I missed this, but what do you guys think about coach keeping the lines? I feel if it's not broke, don't fix it. And hoping Rempe is a factor. Let's get deep into this discussion because we know when it comes to the coach, Tony always has a lot of words to say about our man, Peter Laviolette. I think, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep it the same. We've been very vocal about Rempe in particular. Should he not play in the second round? I get that his skill set, the kind of enforcer, bruiser role, we don't really need that against Carolina. They're a quicker, craftier team, but at the end of the day, if Rempe can land a major hit in the tie game and shift the momentum towards us, I'll take that, especially over Philip Hedl, who hasn't played since early November. Yes, overall, is Hedl the better player? Does his skill set suit this series a lot better? Yes, but who knows what happens when Hedl hits the ice? Like, he hasn't played in months and months and months. He might look phenomenal during practice, but there's a big difference between practice and an NHL playoff game. So I think we're all in agreement with it, but if anyone has anything to add about Laviolette and the lines and everything, feel free.
No, I'll just kind of like reinforce the sentiment. I agree. If it's not broke, there's no need to fix it and change what the Rangers have cooking so far. They were clicking so well. I mean, they're coming off of a sweep, everything was pretty much going the way that we wanted it to. It's going according to plan. At the end of the day, if Peter Laviolette decides to put Hedl in the lineup, decides to take Rempe out, like I've said, I trust Peter Laviolette. I'm fully confident in his plan. So whatever decision he makes, I'll be in support of and I will get behind. But ultimately, I don't think he's going to make this move because I don't think it's the best idea for the team. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. Why disrupt the chemistry that you've built and the unit that you've really crafted here with this Rangers offense and everything else? So I don't think that Hedl really has a place in the lines during the postseason, but it's nice to know that he is nearing a return in case an injury happens during the postseason. That's something to keep in mind. If they got to throw Filipino out there because he's finally healthy enough because somebody gets injured, it's nice to have him on the back burner, but I don't think there's really much of a point in forcing him back into the lineup.
I have to agree with that. And I will say, while we're talking about Laviolette, I'm going to plug you, Tony. We see Anthony's Twitter handle right up there above his head. When they announced the finalists for the Jack Adams Award, and we saw that Peter Laviolette was not one of the names there, I remember I immediately texted Anthony. I said, "You're about to lose your marbles when you see this." And then you went on a pretty crazy Twitter rant, and it made me smile because I know how passionate you are about him. So if you're watching this when we're done, go look at Anthony's Twitter and just see how much this man deeply cares about Peter Laviolette. But
yeah, I'll just add on to that. I pretty rarely tweet about the Rangers. I mostly tweet about the New York Giants, but that one made me put on the cape and cowl. I felt like Batman and Dark Knight Returns, like coming back 50 years later out of nowhere, just had to put on my costume and come to the defense of Peter Laviolette here. Yeah, shake your head all you want, Will, but my analogies are what makes my analysis
I think it's
fun.
funny. That's why I'm shaking my head. I think it's funny.
No, I had to say something though. Peter Laviolette not getting that nomination just felt ridiculous to me. That the team won the President's Trophy. All the injuries that they faced, the adversity that they battled to still end up with the most points in the NHL at the end of the regular season. I don't really get it. There's really no way that you can explain to me why Peter Laviolette did not get a nomination.
I mean, I think personally, the NHL awards have been kind of a joke for the last couple of years. Like, not even just from a Rangers fan perspective. Like, there's been a lot of awards, or at least nominations for awards that just don't make sense. Like, I know I saw another tweet. I don't remember who said it, so I apologize. But for the Jack Adams Award in particular, they said it's kind of just become the award for my team sucked last year and we didn't suck this year. Like, look at the Jets, the Rick Bowness,
they made the playoffs last year, first of all, so they didn't suck.
Well,
so whoever said that needs to.
No, but no, that was just me adding on to it. I don't even. I'm just saying, but him in particular, like, what did
that was crazy?
What did they do this season that warrants him
exactly
being there? Like, the Predators last season weren't good. This year they made the playoffs and got eliminated in the first round. I guess their head coach can make it. I hate to say it, but John Tortorella arguably could have been one of the finalists too. The Philadelphia
Spencer Carberry. I think the three finalists should have been Spencer Carberry, Tortorella, and either Tocchet or I don't even know if I'd put. I like Tocchet, but I think Brunette was. I think it should have been Brunette too. Those three. I can see why Peter Laviolette isn't in the Jack Adams race because the Rangers, they were good last year. All they did was get better this year. So I get it, but
I mean, yeah, but look at what Laviolette did for the team.
I get that.
Greg Gallant was just, I don't even know what he was doing. He was probably high the entire time. He was coaching the Rangers, just standing there doing nothing. And then all of a sudden we're an actual contender. So I don't know. I think Laviolette undoubtedly needs to be in there. I would say John Tortorella with Philly, as much as we hate the Flyers, look at what he did for them. He actually took a team that finished close to dead last year, and they almost made the playoffs this year. To me, that's what Coach of the Year needs to be. Just the impact that he had bringing this team back, not just the Jets, just because the Jets just played hockey and were decent. I'm not a Jets fan, so I don't know all the insider lore of what he actually did this season, but it seems weird to me. But that's just my humbled opinion from a biased Rangers fan. But let's see. Where did that go? I saw a good comment before from Fabrizio Benici. It's a very Italian name. So no, we don't know. I don't think the lineup's been released yet. Do you guys know the lineup? It's going to be the exact same. But here's an interesting thing: if Hedl playing, we don't know, probably not. But would we play Wenberg on the top line? honestly, in the first round, I wasn't that impressed by Alex Wenberg. I know the third line isn't meant to be like a showstopper, like goal scoring line, but the first line I thought was phenomenal. Like even Jack Roslovic, who I know we've been like a little critical of since he was traded to the Rangers, he had a phenomenal first round. He was scoring points. He's third on the roster right now in points scored, and he's looked very solid. Like the regular season, he did like it kind of just seemed like iffy, but then as soon as the first round started, he's played great. So like whether like when it comes to changing the lineup, like no, I'm not touching anything. Like Wenberg, sure, I was a little underwhelmed by, but I'm very satisfied with that first line at the moment, which is weird to say because I haven't said that like at all this season. But I don't know how anyone else feels about either of those players.
No, I'm not moving Wenberg up. I actually liked his game in the first round. I like that. I like that third line. They didn't allow they weren't on the ice for a single goal against. Like they're doing their job. They're getting there's like you said, Eric. They're not supposed to be there just for offense. They're supposed to be there for defense and get some offense in there too. They're supposed to really be. That's really what they're supposed to be. Good defense and some offense, and that's what they did. They did their job. So, no,
Yeah.
I'm not moving him up to the first line at all.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel any different, Anthony?
No, I'm in agreement. Listen, that third line's been grinding, and that's what you need them to do. Would you like to see the point total higher? Sure. Obviously, you would like to see more points from everybody. That's kind of the goal of hockey. But overall, third line's doing their job, and sticking with my theme of if it isn't broke, don't fix it. It applies to potentially putting Hedel in the lineup. It applies to moving the lines around. Coming off of a sweep, yeah, obviously there's adjustments that you can make to improve and make sure that you continue your winning ways. But ultimately, got to be happy with the product that's on the ice right now. And like I said, if it isn't broke, there's really no need to make any major changes.
Yeah, I know. Like it seems like we're just running in circles. We all keep saying the same thing. Like, don't change anything. But I know Hedel is like the big thing in Rangers town right now. Everyone's it's a very divided argument. I know the three of us are all in agreement. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But just looking at Twitter and social media, the fan base is split down the middle on whether or not they want to see Hedel this series. So it's an interesting thing going on. But I think it's a problem that I'm happy to have. Like you said, or I think you said it earlier, Tony. Keep him around if we have an injury. Like, God forbid someone goes down at some point. It's not like we have to call up some random guy from the AHL to make his NHL debut. So, no, we have a guy who started the season as a second-line center just ready to go. But here's a side discussion I need to say, because Stephen Land brought up the pizza again. You finally got your pizza. You didn't drop it on the floor like last week. I'm very happy for you. Anthony, I don't know if you remember. You probably do. When I texted you a couple days ago asking the name of the pizza place that we went to in the city, that was because the fans were asking what we thought the best pizza in New York was, and that's what I went with. But you weren't there last week. What do you think is the best pizza in New York City?
I mean, Prince Street Pizza was pretty good. I got to find – that's the place that we went to that I obviously told you to tell the chat. I want to say that this place is called Lazara's, but I'm going to look it up on my phone. I have a picture of the place. This is, to me, the best pizza I've had. I sat down here by my lonesome in the middle of this restaurant, got a table for one, and had the best pizza of my life. Just randomly. It's near Times Square. It's not in Times Square, but it's adjacent to it. And it's very thin, square cut, like perfect amount of sauce and cheese. It was just unbelievably good. I'm going to try and find the name of it right now. Thin crust. Yep.
Thin crust.
Come on, man. Anthony.
Thin crust and crunchy, like crunchy thin crust is the best. Like I don't.
We're on the same page here. Eric and I have very similar food tastes.
Yeah, we like our pizza. But to everyone that is watching, all 57 of you right now, in the comments, drop your favorite pizza location in New York City. It's not like I'll know what any of them are, but I want to see if there's like one. Ooh, dude, that looks amazing.
It does look good. I can't lie.
It was unreal.
I think for me and my personal preference, I think I would like a little bit more cheese. I like a cheesy pizza. Zara's. Next time we're in the city, we got to go. But yeah, to everyone watching, leave your pizza top pizza places in New York. Like I said, it's not like I'll know what any of them are just based by the name, but I want to see if we can all come to an agreement on one final decision. I know just based on watching Dave Portnoy, like John's of Bleecker is apparently really good. That's what my mom said when she was here last week. She said that was the best pizza. She agreed with Dave, but I've never had it, so I don't know. But pizza's good. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, 3D Creeper, you brought up the Heedle thing again. If he returns, like, he can play the way he did against Carolina 2 years ago. I mean, that entire playoff run was just really just Igor and the kid line carrying us.
Whoa. Mika had
What?
he had a really good playoffs that year.
Oh, okay. I mean, he did. Like, we made it within 2 games of the Stanley Cup final. So, like, obviously, give me, like, a little room to breathe here. Like, don't take like, but, you know, the kid line popped off, and I think that was easily the best unit of that run. Right? Like, yes, Mika played great. Panarin played great. Kreider played great. But when I think about that playoff run, I think of the kid line. And Igor, of course.
I do, too. You don't think of the kid line when you think about that playoff run? Like,
well,
the kid line took the league by storm there.
Yeah, but I think of Tyler Mott's goal in Game 6 because that's like
we love Tyler Mott on the show.
That's what I think of. But that's what I think of in that playoff run. But yeah, I mean, I guess I do think of the kids. I really think of Panarin's Game 7 goal before that, though.
I mean, that is true, but that's just one goal.
No, yeah. No, but I do say the kids were. I mean, they were good. They were good in that playoff run. Like that, the Heedle going off for those 3 games, that was nuts. I mean, that was. The kid line were very. That was when they were, breaking out that playoff run. They were huge.
And then, you know what? It came back to bite us because they had a really good playoff run, and then Gerard Gallant said, "You know what? That kid line is cool. I'm going to keep them together for the rest of their goddamn lives." I apologize for the cursing, but I get passionate when it comes to Gallant. Yeah, I don't know. I think of the kid line personally. I know we've talked about the most heinous act by Gerard Gallant was last season when Vincent Trocheck and Artemi Panarin asked Gallant to put them on a line together with Lafreniere, and Gallant said no because he wanted to keep the kid line intact.
Just ridiculous.
And
look at how good that line is now. Like, look at how good it is. Sometimes you got to listen to the players, man. Sometimes the players really do know best.
That's what I'm saying. Like Trocheck, I know Trocheck was like the main one behind this, but I think it was him and Panarin, but mainly Trocheck. Went to Gallant and was like, "Look, we see this kid play. We think he'd be a really good fit with us. Like, look at what he's doing. We'd make a phenomenal line." And shout out Trocheck because he's right. Like a year later, we're seeing what that line was, like the best line on the team at the moment. And Gallant just refused to listen and was like, "No, I want to keep Lafreniere, Heedle, and Kakko on the third line until they're 30." Like I said, I wish that became public news when it happened because the public outcry would have been enough to get Gallant fired.
Oh my God! Yeah. He was. I really don't know what Gallant was doing. I mean, looking back at it now, the way that he coached and the way that Laviolette coached is night and day. Like Gerard Gallant got out-coached by Lindy Ruff in the first round last year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is, how do you do that? I don't know. I mean, it was a blessing and a curse because obviously you got him fired. But he made no adjustments after Game 3 and got out-coached by Lindy Ruff. That's crazy. Like that right there is nuts by itself. And he did a lot more that was worse than that. Like it's crazy.
I don't know. All I'm saying is like there have been 3 times this season where my mind has just been blown. The first one was technically in the offseason when Panarin was in Russia and he got fined for just shooting guns in public. that blew me away. Then it was when who was it? Was it Schneider when he said we made a bunch of ouchies?
Oh, ouchies, yeah, it was Schneider. God, yeah. That was so embarrassing.
I know some people still comment that to this day. If you go look at like a couple of our recent videos, like people just comment like, "At least we didn't make any ouchies today."
That was nuts. When I first saw that quote after the game, I actually thought it was fake.
Yeah, I thought it was fake too, and I remember very vividly after that was released and we were like losing a lot, during January. I said, if I'm Laviolette or Drury, like if one of my players says that, you're automatically sent down to the AHL for a week. Like if you're gonna talk like that, go play with the kids down in the AHL and then come back, man.
Yeah, that was actually crazy that he said that. Like, I was quite shocked.
And then the third mind-blowing thing was the Gallant thing that we just talked about that I heard about. I can't believe it.
I just got to drop my comment on that. I think Gallant is a war criminal. I think what he did to this team was just foul. Absolute war criminal behavior. And I just want to take it and tie it back into my praise and my glazing of Peter Laviolette. Again, this roster, if you look at this team on paper right now compared to what it was a year ago in the postseason, this team is worse on paper. Like the roster, the talent is not as good, but they are getting so much more out of this team. The players are playing so much better. The adjustments being made. Maybe there's room for debate there, but that's just how I see it. This is largely the same team, but this team just performed so much better during the regular season. Through the first round of the postseason has performed so much better.
Right.
I just think you have to tie it into the way Gallant coached this team. He really failed to maximize the talent that was on those lines. And now, even though they've lost some of the talent that was on those lines, like obviously we had Patrick Kane and Tarasenko, those guys aren't here, but the talent that we have now, maximizing it, getting the most out of everybody. So I just got to tie this all back into my boy Peter Laviolette and continue to praise him.
I misunderstood you, Eric. Not Eric, Anthony. That's why I shook my head the first. I misunderstood what you were saying. I apologize.
I love
That's okay. Like, I forgive you.
Thank you.
On this channel, we have like a lot of running gags. There's my personal hatred for Ryan Strome, but I think one of my favorite ones, like the ongoing plot line, is Tony's blazing Peter Laviolette.
We don't talk about that enough.
We all love him, but me and you do glaze Panarin quite a bit as well. So,
we do.
I guess I really can't judge. I'm looking at a couple of the pizza reviews right here. Pastaria and Branchinelli's on Long Island. What part of Long Island? Because that's where I live. Not right now, but I'm going to visit in the summer, and if it's close, I'm definitely going to go. I do got to shout out my personal favorite Long Island one was Umberto's in my hometown of Sayville, Long Island. So if you're ever out there on the island, stop by there. It's a great local business, and I got to plug them. They make phenomenal pizza. Let's see what we've got here. Will, the 3D Creeper agrees with you that thick crust is the best. So you have one support, but you're still wrong. So
who are you feeling in today's game? Who's going to stand out? Who are you guys thinking?
Will Cooley.
I'm going to just go quick and I'll let you elaborate. Will. You're going who? Churchek? No, I mean, he's the GOAT. But this is what I've been saying about, or at least thinking about Kakko, because we haven't gone live in a while. When I think of a player that could potentially be like a sleeper pick to have a major impact in this series, I am thinking of Kaapo Kakko. Carolina is a very depth-filled team, and they're going to control the puck quite a bit. And Kakko is the type of guy where he's like, he's kind of like, I don't want to say he's kind of like Rempe because he's not a bruiser, but he's like big build, really strong, and he protects the puck phenomenally. And him on that third line is a defensive unit. So I think when like a player who you wouldn't expect to just stand out, I mean, he might not hit the score sheet that often, but he's going to make a huge difference. So I'm right now I'm glazing Kakko. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, Will, you can talk about Cooley.
I like Cooley. I think like when you see the game he plays, he's a big boy. He plays well defensively. He's going to make a lot. He's going to crush you along the boards. He's going to have some offensive output to his game. But when you think of a 16-game player on this roster, you think of Chris Kreider, and I think of Will Cooley as well with that. I think his game translates very well to the playoffs. I thought he had a very good first round too. So I'm looking for him to have another good series against Carolina here in the second round.
Yeah. Tony, why Trocheck?
Because I like Trocheck, and he's been playing well all season, and I think he's going to continue to do that. I just think that guy's a beast. I'm excited to watch him play.
Valid analysis right there.
Not much more to it, man. Not much more to it.
Also, I just want to say Chris, because Chris said the Sayville Country Club is a great golf course. I used to work there, by the way. So if you were ever there about 6 or 7 years ago, I might have been there. So how about that? Small world, right?
I like it. I'll actually add on a little bit more analysis to Trocheck. He's really good on the power play, and we were talking about special teams is important. He had 3 goals and 3 assists on the power play in the last 5 games that he's played, so that's kind of like the key there.
Getting through that Carolina penalty kill is going to be tough. I don't know how many power play goals we're scoring in this series.
They're so aggressive on their penalty kill. Their penalty kill is so good, dude. It's crazy.
And the scariest part is like I've been looking at their lines like all week, just just sit there and I just look and I'm like scouting the roster basically. Their defense is horrifying, and they're not even healthy. Like I forget. All right, see, this is what I'm saying. Like I'm going to sound dumb now because yes, I have been looking at it, but I don't remember who it is that's injured. Was it Pesci? It might be Brett Pesci.
Pesci's injured. Yeah, Pesci's injured.
And he might be coming back at some point this series. So just seeing what they did against the Islanders and knowing what they're capable of, not even at full strength, it haunts me. I'm scared. This is going to be a very low-scoring series, I think, because, just the Carolina defense, phenomenal. Even though they don't have the greatest goaltending in the world, they're not going to give up that many chances. And then there's just Igor, who's a brick wall. I wouldn't be shocked if, every game the series was, 2-1.
I mean, in the second round of the 2022 playoffs, I think through the first 5 games of the series, there were 9 goals scored in total, that's not a lot, obviously. So, yeah, I think it'll be a low score. I agree with you, Eric. I think it's going to be low scoring again.
I don't know. I think we're all about to get hit by a brick right now because in the first round we played the Capitals, so our confidence is so high. We just swept. I have 0 doubts. And I still think the Rangers are going to win, don't get me wrong, but this series is going to be so much closer. I haven't had to deal with the emotional pain of a Rangers loss in a decent amount of time. And it's going to happen this series at some point. So I'm not ready for it. I'm still right in the high of the sweep, and then I think I'm going to get ran over by a train as soon as the series starts. So yeah. We'll see what happens, but Rangers in 6 is my official prediction, by the way. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going with Rangers in 7 is my official prediction.
Yeah. Roderick, what words are sweeter to hear than "It's a power play goal" by Sam Rosen, or "Your lady tells you she loves you"? Well, what I will say is this. I have been very critical of Sam Rosen the last couple of years. I love him, and he's the GOAT, but every time he makes a mistake, it just deeply bothers me when he's like, "It's a goal by Alexei Lafreniere. Wait, sorry. It's Vincent Trocheck." I'm like, they don't look alike, Sam. What are you doing? But I will say I'm going to miss him. He called the first round. Now second round goes to national television. So I know it's confirmed. He's on the radio. So if you really want to hear Sam Rosen, put it on your TV, but get the audio bingo to stop barking, Will. But you can listen to him on the radio. Chris says Rangers in 5. Today is 4-1 Rangers. I mean, at the end of the stream, we'll get deep into our predictions. But Tony, I haven't heard you say I'm sure you think the Rangers are going to win, but how many games?
I don't know. I'm scared to make a prediction. I like how Will said Rangers in 7. I want to go that way, but I'm too afraid of the idea of having to watch a game 7. That just sounds terrifying. I'll be puckered. I will be on the edge of my seat. I will not be comfortable. So I'm hoping that it's not 7 games. I want to predict 6 to feel a little bit more safe and comfortable. But you do have to keep in mind there is a reason why the Rangers, I guess, are the underdogs. So you probably have to go Rangers in 7 if you want to predict them.
I just think, to me, the major difference is the fact that we have home ice. Yeah, we're nervous about the President's Trophy curse, whatever. Who cares about that? Rangers have their own story to write. Who cares if other teams in the past couldn't win it with the President's Trophy? We will. Maybe we didn't in 2015, but we did in 94. So there's that.
There's a stat. I think it's since 2018, or it's either 2018 or 2019, the Carolina Hurricanes have only won 4 road playoff games.
Yeah, and that is true because I saw that as well. And that's what I'm saying. There were a lot of people just commenting on our videos and on Twitter saying they didn't want the President's Trophy and they wanted to let Carolina catch up so we could have an easier first round opponent.
That's so crazy.
Well, one, look, bite your words because we won the President's Trophy and we had the easiest opponent possible. So shout out the Flyers for that. But at the end of the day, we have home ice now throughout the entire playoffs, and that's like the most important thing. I would much rather play a Game 7 at home than a Game 7 in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You guys know that the Rangers are 1.5 point underdogs for this game?
Wow.
Do you know that? The spread
did
is
not.
-1.5.
I mean,
Not even
that's
a half a
ridiculous.
goal. A goal and a half. Like,
And it's a home game. It's at
it's a home
MSG.
game. I will say, though, and this is a question that I wanted to ask earlier in the stream, but I forgot. Are you guys worried about how long of a break the Rangers have had? You know,
Yes.
like it's been a good amount of time off. Do you think there's going to be rust? Do you think that's going to make them slow out of the gate? I know you just said yes. Will's shaking his head, so I want to hear Will's perspective on it.
Carolina also, I mean, what do they have? One more extra day of they played Game 5. I think, yeah, they played literally the next day. So I mean, they're just as rusty as us.
They had 2 days.
All right, they had 2 days, so they had 2 more days. But still, I mean, they're gonna have just as much rust as us. Like, I guess instead of 7 days, they only had 5. Still a lot. It's still a lot. I mean, both teams are resting. They both practiced, I guess. So I don't think it really matters. Both teams are gonna come out rusty.
I think it does, because as much as I hate to say it, like the Rangers do have this problem. Every single time that we have like a couple days break, not even just in the playoffs, just in general, like we always come back rusty. And I know like that's what we were saying, like how much rest is too much rest? Like would we be nervous if we had to wait that long? That's why, like you said, Will, great point that the Hurricanes also have been resting for a while, but I don't know how they usually are when they have a decent amount of rest, but like the Rangers typically in the past have always come out rusty when they have a decent amount of time. And that's what I'm scared of, because against a team like the Capitals, in which I think 3 of the 4 games, the Capitals scored first, or maybe at least 2, the Rangers were able to just fix it in the first period and then just bounce back. If you fall behind early against the Hurricanes, the chances of you bouncing back are a lot lower than it was against the Capitals. So I get it. Like Rangers literally set a franchise record this season for most comeback wins in the year, but Carolina is a dangerous team. And I know that, yeah, we're biased and we're very confident right now, but we got to give them credit. Like, sure, we won the President's Trophy, but they finished 3rd. They were like 3 or 4 points behind us. I don't remember what it was. Might have been 3. Like, this is a very evenly matched team. They beat us in goals against, penalty killed, power play. Like, it's going to be a really close series, and there's absolutely no room for error. So, yes, I'm worried about the rest.
I mean, like I said, they had 5 days of rest. We had 7. Like, I think both teams are going to be rusty at the start. That's just how it goes. I mean, it's better. Honestly, I think it's better than going 7 games, because then you're going to run out of gas quicker. Like, I know you might be a little more rusty, but if you go to 7 every series, you're gonna run out of gas, and obviously we saw that happen against Tampa. But I know what you're saying. I just wanted to point that out too. I thought of that in my head while I was just sitting here.
No, it's a good point, because like I don't want people to sit here and just think that I'm crazy for like complaining about us sweeping the Capitals.
You are crazy, Eric. You are crazy.
I'm very happy, and maybe the rest is a good thing at the end of the day, because it's more time to work on everything. I know we said, yes, we swept the Capitals, but it wasn't a perfect series. Like a couple of those games were close. Game 4, easily, we easily could have lost that in the last couple of minutes right there. But so I know we've seen the clips, we've seen interviews. Laviolette has taken these last few days to really get involved. Let's just bring it. It all comes full circle back to Peter Laviolette. I know. The one big thing I saw 2 days ago, I think one of us talked about it on one of the episodes. Then during practice the other day, they were mimicking the Carolina Hurricanes.
Their man-on-man defense.
5 man-on-man D coverage. And during that drill that they were working on, Laviolette did not stop talking for a single moment. He was yelling at the players, getting them motivated, like very hands-on. I know I didn't pull it up before, but someone commented how Gallant kind of just like let his players do his thing and just stood there. That is not the case with Peter Laviolette right now. He is very hands-on, working with specific situations and prepping for whatever the Hurricanes might bring. So not to start glazing again, but maybe the rest could be a good thing as long as whatever Laviolette did is productive. But knowing him, I'm sure it was. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I liked that when I heard that he was, doing that, and he was on the ice for the entire hour, however long they were on the ice, yelling at them, telling them where to go, stuff like that. That's what you want to see in a coach. That made me want to run through a brick wall. I can't lie.
Yeah. James also just made a phenomenal point in the comments when he said Fox took that knee on knee, so maybe the rest allowed him to get healthy. I think that's a very valid point where throughout these last 7 days that the Rangers haven't played, Fox missed a couple of practices for what Laviolette considered maintenance.
Yeah, it was maintenance.
Just like him getting rested. So, yes, it's a good thing that the Rangers didn't have to play 3 more games of that series and play in a game 7 and then go directly into this without letting Fox recover. So good point there, James. I'm very happy that you just said that. Roger says he's yet to meet someone from Long Island. That isn't crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We're all psychotic.
Me? Nah.
Hey, man, we're all a little bit crazy. You're a Giants fan. You got to be crazy. How else do you put up
I got to be crazy. Yeah, I got to be crazy to watch that team week in and week out for sure. Keep rooting for them. I want to give my 2 cents on it, though. I didn't really get to chime in there. I am not worried about the rest personally. I am good with the Rangers. I don't think they're going to be rusty, and I hate to do it. It just ties back into Peter Laviolette. You guys kind of covered it for me, so you guys covered it for me, so I'm not going to double down on it, but I'm going to just reinforce the point. Laviolette, he's been coaching them hard. He's well prepared. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of rust for this team. I think they're going to be firing on all cylinders, and now it's just whether or not the Hurricanes are also firing on all cylinders, and, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
It's going to be a damn fun series. I can't lie. It's going to be fun.
I mean, I've said it a couple times. I mean, because I'm biased. I'm a Rangers fan. But I think that no matter what happens from here on out in the playoffs, this series will be the best one of the entire postseason. And I genuinely believe that whoever comes out on top in the series is going to go on to win the Stanley Cup. Whether it's us or Carolina, I think we're easily the 2 best teams that are still in it. Yeah, there's a lot of good talent out there, like Boston, Florida, even Dallas is still in it. There's a lot of good teams, but that's my biggest prediction is that whoever wins this series is going to win the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. If we lose, then I'd rather someone else win. But I just thinking about it, I think these are the top 2 contenders that are left. So, I don't know. It's going to be us, though. Don't worry about it. I read the script, and we're fine. Thomas also brings up a good point. We were underdogs the last time we played the Canes in the second round. It's going to be Rangers 6 again. Well, we won in 7 that series, right?
Yeah, we won in 7 that series. I think that's a little different being underdogs in that series, though. I mean, we were in the second seed in the Metro, and we finished second, and the Canes finished
second,
first.
I thought we were third.
No, we had home ice advantage again. The Penguins finished third.
The Penguins. Who won the division?
The Canes.
Then how did we have?
We didn't have home ice. We had home ice
though?
Against the Penguins in the first round. Then the Canes had home ice in the second round. Then we had home ice against the Lightning in the third round.
Yeah, sorry, you just confused me. Sorry, Tony, what did you say?
What do you guys think the reason is that the Rangers are the underdogs? Why is Vegas viewing them this way? Why are NHL analysts viewing them this way? What do you think is the actual reason why the team that won the President's Trophy? Is it because President's Trophy curse just looms large? Is it, what's the personnel factor?
Yeah, I think it is analytics.
The Canes are the sexier analytical team. When you look at their analytics, it's like they're always in the top 5, with 5v5 play, all that stuff. They have good defense, everything like that. That's why. I mean, they're sexier analytically.
But the Rangers are sexier head coachingly.
That's true. We got the sexiest head coach in the league.
Peter.
to just add on to what Will said, he's right. Sure, by the end of the regular season, the Rangers finished number 1. But like I said before, Carolina finished number 3. I know the Rangers, we are better than them in goals for with 282. I only know about that because I wrote about it earlier today. Check it out on empiresportsmedia.com. And goals for per 60 minutes. Other than that, Carolina has us beat goals against, power play, penalty kill. And they're very depth filled. Yes, the Rangers finished higher than them in the standings, but they got Jake Gensel at the trade deadline, and he hasn't been with the team that long. I think if Jake Gensel played the entire season with them, they probably would have finished higher than us. And to be honest, he is set a record for the most points totaled by a trade deadline acquisition for he's good. And I hate him.
They also got their starting goaltender, Freddie Anderson, at the end of the regular season as well. And I think it was since April 13th or something. He's been one of the best goaltenders in the league. So that also helps at the end of the season, getting back your starting goaltender like Freddie Anderson.
Yeah. I gotta bring something up here because I've been thinking about it for a while. Ryan here just said, we got this, roll rags, lock in. Now, in my time, the word rags is what other fans used to make fun of us. But then I've also seen like Ryan and Anthony, you do this a lot too, where you would say the word rags is a good thing. And I never call the Rangers the rags.
Yeah, me neither.
People use it in a demeaning way.
Just taking the word back, man. Take it back. It's ours now. We're the rags. F it.
You know what? That's a good point.
They'll call us, those rags, but the rags just whooped your ass. We just took that rag, twisted it into a rat tail, and smacked you on the ass with it. So go rags.
Oh, I like that. I like how you did that.
I physically can't argue with that mindset. But no, it's always been a thing. Sometimes when we're texting and you say it, I'm always I don't know, but I like that. Just who cares? It's ours now. We've claimed it. Here, Allie's clipping that. Please do send it to us. We'll post it on our socials. 3D Creeper says that he thinks Lafreniere is going to have an incredible second round. I've said it a few times. I think Lafreniere was not talked about enough in the first round. He was a point per game player, 4 points in 4 games. And we sit here and we glaze Panarin, we glaze Laviolette, but we haven't talked about Alexis Lafreniere that much. He had a great first round, and yes, he's going to continue in the second round. He's going to be good, but Tony, how do you feel about Lafreniere?
I feel, man, I love Lafreniere. I just love the second line. And, you guys got me a little jazzed up earlier with the whole conversation about Gallant refusing to put that pairing together, that trio together on the second line. Now we've got it. And yeah, it's frustrating as hell. But, like Will said, in the end, I guess it was a good thing because it ultimately, all the mistakes that he made led to him getting fired, led to Peter Laviolette being the Rangers head coach. So we can be happy with where we are right now. And yeah, I just think the second line is going to keep cooking, hopefully. And I think Lafreniere has been a big part of that throughout the season, especially in the first round of the postseason. And if he can continue to back up his performances and turn in another great round here, I mean, those underrated contributors, those are the guys that really win you postseason series, right? Those guys that maybe aren't your Panarins and Snatcher-Sturkin, but how about the rest of the team? The Lafreniere, Tros, those guys. Yes, literally. That is such a great name to bring up. The Tyler Motts of the world. Those are the guys that win you series. So Lafreniere, I mean,
Alexander Wenberg that we were talking about.
The Cacos. No, but I will say, just side note, when I went to Game 3 of Lightning Panthers just this past round, I witnessed a Tyler Mott goal in person in the playoffs and nearly brought me to tears. I was like, why couldn't he be with us still?
I know that feeling. I've got a witness too. They're special.
Yeah, I miss Mott. We look every time we talk about last season and the trade deadline in particular, we're always like Patrick Kane, Tarasenko. But at the end of the day, the best acquisition was the return of Tyler Mott.
That was awesome, dude. I love Tyler Mott so much. I was hoping
such a big move. That was such a great move. I remember when that happened too, Eric. That was I wouldn't say my praising. I'm going to say praising was equivalent to how I praise Laviolette, but I was very happy with that Mott move. That was the one for me. Even more so, I thought it was more important to solidify the Rangers lines and the Kane trade.
We used to talk about him quite a bit. I remember we were both very happy about it, and it's so funny.
We were big Mott fans on this channel. Yeah. We've done a lot of Mott praising
We
so
had
to
a
speak,
couple
on this
episodes
channel.
dedicated to him. It's not often that we make episodes just like dedicated to like an individual player in the bottom six, but Mott got a lot of content on him. We really loved him there, and I just loved like how funny it was. Like 2 years ago, we traded for Mott at the deadline, then he signed elsewhere, and then the following year, we just traded for him again at the deadline, and then he signed elsewhere, and now he's in Florida. So I miss him though. Anthony, you fired up Tommy here. You're out here motivating the fan base.
Let's go. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, this comment you got to pull up. We are the 2024 version of Motley Crue. Let's go.
I didn't even see that.
That's got me hyped up. Now I'm amped. Now I'm fired up right now. Let's go, Roderick.
Roderick, you know that we love you on this channel. You've quite literally been here for every single live stream we've ever had, but that is your best comment. Thank you. I would like to be known as like a modern day Nikki Sixx, but we'll see what happens. Fabrizio here, the Italian, commenting about the Italian. Gentlemen, I really think Trocheck is going to have a big series and get under the skin of the Canes, similar to what Esatix. Did I say that right, Will?
Tikkanen.
Sorry.
Tikkanen's his real last name, but Teeks is what that was his nickname.
You know, I'm a big Rangers fan, but as soon as we get into like the old players, I always mispronounce things. I'm sure there'll be 1,000 comments calling for my crucifixion because I just messed that up. But yeah, let's not forget Vincent Trocheck, before he was a New York Ranger, played for the Carolina Hurricanes. And I know he's had a few comments in the media recently where he's unfazed by it, you know, going up against his old team, where he's just like, yeah, I've played against old teams in the past. No biggie. But at the end of the day, like, it could serve as valuable information or like experience. I know it's a different team from 2 years ago when he was with the Hurricanes, but he knows some of the guys. He knows how they work. I know another big relationship that we don't talk about that often was how when Peter Laviolette won the Stanley Cup back in 2006, the captain of his team was Rob Brindamore, the coach. Like that, it's an interesting relationship. Like the Rangers have a lot of knowledge on this team, and I know they've like kind of like what I just said about Trocheck. They've all had the same mindset where they're like, we're not looking at the past. This is a new series, new year. We're going to focus on the right now. But they do have some valuable experience playing against each other and like knowing the coaches and how they all work and everything. So Lou just said, other than names, we do okay. We always mess up names. Good comment. But I don't know. We talked about Trocheck a little bit, but just like the experience that he has being a former Hurricane, does that help anything?
I think yes and no. Like, I mean, they probably changed up a little bit since he's left. He probably doesn't know. I mean, he knows probably, you know, some things about the team, but I don't think it helps any. I don't think it helps any less than it hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that right.
The players are, like Trocheck in particular, he's in the mindset where he's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, sure, I used to play for him. Doesn't faze me. And I think that's kind of the right way to go about it. You don't want to be too confident. Like, I know them. You don't want to be scared. Just play hockey. It's not that hard.
Just do what you've been doing. Yeah, just play hockey.
They're not friends anymore. Trocheck has new friends. He lives with Will Cooley. They're best friends now. Tyler just said, anyone else just glad to make it to the second round this year? No. Job's not done.
No.
We could lose last round, this round, next round, and I'll still feel the same way.
It's a failure.
I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be in the second round. I do think that this season is a success regardless. Like, it's not going to be a success unless we win it all. Like, we got to win it all. But I think, you know, I'll be on Tyler's side here. You know, considering where we were last year. Last year was like the cup or bust year. Like, that's what we were talking about. I think it is a little bit unfair to go with this team and hold them. I mean, we got to hold them to that standard. It is cup or bust. Like, we do need to win it all. Like, that is the expectation. That is the hope. But I do think you got to at least give credit that this team has done what it's done so far and made it this far. There's plenty of reason to rejoice in our success already.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll clarify. Like, obviously, I'm happy to be here. Like, I'm not like, damn it, we're in the second round now. But like I said, I think with this team and what we've accomplished and the roster that we have, it's cup or bust.
Yeah.
And I think who said it? Panarin said it recently.
We need to win the Stanley Cup. That's
He
what
quite
said,
literally
yeah.
said it's cup or bust. Like
Mhm.
this season, the only way that it'll end with me being like, all right, we did a good job is if we win the cup. Anything short of that, I'm going to look back at the season as another failure, 30 straight years of failure.
So. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, Eric. Like, yeah, I'm grateful to be in the second round right now, but if they don't come out if they don't end this playoff run lifting up the Stanley Cup, it's a failure. It's not a successful season. That's the expectation coming into the year was cup or bust. And if they don't win the cup, it's a failed season.
Yeah. And, especially with this group that we have, the window is quickly coming to a close. Like, I'm not saying like next season we're going to be rebuilding. Like, this group still has probably like a good 2 or 3 years left in them. But let's not forget Kreider, Panarin, Zibanejad, Trocheck. They're all in their 30s. Igor's already like 28. So he's still got a little bit of time. But at some point, these guys are going to get a little too old. And we're lucky because we do have players like Offman, Perreault, Edstrom that like as soon as this cup window ends, another one will open like very shortly after. But it's cup or bust. This group's window it's quickly coming to an end. If not this year, maybe we have, like I said, like good 2 or 3 years left with them. But I don't know.
Well, I will say, thankfully, we got some pretty good young players on the way. We got Offman, we got Perreault, we got some good players. So
that's what I'm saying.
We just have we go from one great era to another. That's what we're hoping for.
Well, see, that's we already did it once. Like 2010 to like 2017 was like peak Rangers. Sure, we never won, but like it was an incredible time to be a Rangers fan. The players were phenomenal, and like everyone loved them. I think that was easily like peak Rangers of like all time, even though we didn't win. But then everyone got too old. And the Rangers released that letter to the fans, the infamous letter that we all know. And they were just like, hey, guys, like we're going to start rebuilding here. I'm sorry if we traded away your favorite player. And within 2 years, we were just like back. We just signed Panarin, drafted Lafreniere and Kakko, got everybody.
Yeah, they got lucky in that little short rebuild. That was really just a retool, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't know, Tony. I know that you have to leave in just a brief moment. Do you want to keep going or do you want to wrap it up?
It's whatever you want to do, honestly. I could go for another 15 minutes if you wanted to.
Yeah, we can go for a little bit more, but Anthony, I'll sign you off right here. Just quickly, just drop your score prediction.
Oof. I'm going to go 4-3. Rangers get the win in the Garden, game 1 in regulation. Crazy game, comes down to the wire. But I do love this Rangers team, and I think they're going to pull through. I'm not worried about the rust being a factor. I think that the way they played last series, again, I believe in Laviolette. I think they're going to be ready to rock and to roll in game 1, and I'm expecting, hopefully, this series to get off to a good start with a win. So that's going to be my prediction. Unfortunately, I do have to bounce here, but, man, this was a fun stream, and I'm looking forward to streaming, hopefully, for game 2 and 3 and 4, and hopefully no more after that. Hopefully just 4 streams this series. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that'll be nice. But it was a pleasure having you. To everyone watching, say bye, Anthony, and he'll be back at some point to discuss more about this series. But I'll see you later,
Absolutely. Dude. All right. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Go Rags. Nah, go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
All right, and then we'll switch that over to that. All right, we're down to a duo. Let's see. We got a couple of comments here that we should definitely catch up on. Tommy said, I've never been – oh, wait, now there's a duo. I can actually pull them up. I've never been so nervous yet excited for a series in my life. These teams are so evenly matched. This should be a bloodbath. Let's go Rags. I agree. I the first round – was the only time in my life where Rangers playoff hockey was happening, and I wasn't scared for a single moment. Like, in the past, every series I've watched has been all that I've ever thought about. Like, it's just in my brain like a virus, just like I'm just nervous. Even if we're heavy favorites, I've always just been nervous because I'm like, what if we mess up? But the first round, I didn't care. Like, I mean, I obviously I cared, but like I was just like, yeah, we're just going to win. that was the only time I didn't even care about the jinx. I openly said on the channel that we would sweep multiple times because I was like, we're not going to mess this up. And we're right. But this series, like you said, it's going to be a bloodbath. I'll say it again. I think whoever comes out on top of this series is going to win the Stanley Cup. And it honestly just could come down to the flip of a coin. The teams are so evenly matched. And I don't know. I think it's going to go in the Rangers' favor, mainly because of the home ice thing. But we'll see. But I don't know, Will, like, what's your confidence level at?
I think my confidence level is at, well, see, like I'm confident in this series that we can pull it off and win. So I guess my confidence series is like a 6, 7. But at the same time, I also am worried. Like my worry level's at a 7 too, because like everyone's saying, these teams are pretty evenly matched. As much as people don't want to say that, they are pretty evenly matched. And obviously the Rangers play the Carolina Hurricanes very well in the regular season, and they played them well in the playoffs 2 years ago. But I'd have to say my confidence level is at a 7, and my worry level is also at a 7 because of how I know this series can go either way. It's not like one team's going to dominate. I just know both. I know it can go both ways. So I'm just same amount of worry and confidence level, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm worried, but I'm also confident. Like I know we on our social media accounts, which you all should be following if you're not already. We did make a post saying like, how confident are you heading into the second round? And like, sure, like we had a couple people say like 10, but like, come on, like this isn't like Capitals anymore. But I saw a couple people commented just 5, like right in the middle, and I was like, you know what? Valid answer. Like I think I'm not like I'm confident, but I'm also nervous, and anything can happen in the series. But Will, just really quick because we've reached the point where it's over an hour. I got to get into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Anyone that comments, if there's anything that you want to say, just click on the comment. It'll pull up, okay? And I'll be right back.
Oh, I can do it. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm not going to bash my head last time. Last time we streamed and I got to go to the bathroom, I smacked my head on the wall because I was looking the other way. But we're good right now.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Michael. I actually cannot pull it up. So but yeah, the Rangers need to exploit Shea and D'Angelo's defensive pairing. I know that obviously D'Angelo is in for Pesci right now, and we know how he is. He's not the best defender. Obviously, the best defenseman. Obviously, we saw him in the one. He was on our team, but I know some of you guys remember that qualifying round where he played like crap that series. But also Sebastian Aho absolutely walked him, scored on Lundqvist. I think it was game 2. So definitely that's one thing the Rangers do need to exploit is Shea and D'Angelo. More so D'Angelo because Shea's actually he kind of fits in pretty well with that Hurricanes defensive system. I know obviously he was a Rangers draft pick and he wasn't the most loved Ranger. Obviously, he kind of declined after that 2017 playoffs. I think it was 27. But yeah. MC Sports, any word on Filipino? Not that I know of right now. I haven't got any notifications. I'm guessing that they're not going to put him in the lineup right now. I guess I think they're going to keep him until there is a reason they need to put him into the lineup, like a pretty big injury or something like that. But as of right now, I don't see him playing in today's game.
Are we talking about Philip?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. I'm sure the lineup is going to be released soon. Like we're approaching game time. At some point, they have to do it.
Yeah, warm-up should start soon. So line rushes should come out relatively soon as well, maybe in the next 20-something minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now. I don't see anything. I'm looking at a pretty sexy photo of Artemi Panarin right here. He's got hair now. His hair is growing in. I love it. You know what's going to be nice? We get to see playoff beards. I wonder what all the players are going to look like.
Oh, wait, well, the Rangers did. They got freaking shirts on right now. They got shirts at MSG. That's so unfair, dude.
I wish I could go. I promise you, if the Rangers advance in this series and the Florida Panthers happen to advance, I will be at every Florida game wearing my Rangers jerseys. because I only live a few hours away. It would mean I wouldn't be able to stream unless I did it from my phone, just like in the car. But we'll see. I need to go see Rangers hockey. I need to get back to New York.
My girlfriend's parents are actually at the game. They're going to the game today. They paid a hefty price for those tickets. Let me tell you, that's how I knew that I wasn't going to be able to go to a playoff game this year if it wasn't in Washington or Carolina.
Yeah, well, let's not forget that the Hurricanes are limiting the sale of their tickets for this series to only residents of North and South Carolina.
I get it, though. I mean, I do get it. Can't lie.
No, I don't. Because we were texting about it, and Tony made the argument where he was like, they're doing it to just ensure that like people who buy the tickets actually fill the seats and everything. But the Rangers, I think it has to just be because they don't want us taking over their barn. And like they tried it in 2022 and they failed. There was a lot of Rangers fans there, and I'm sure we're going to do the same thing again. If there's a will, there's a way. We'll get there.
I think a lot of teams do this. I know Nashville did it a couple years ago. I know Tampa sometimes does it. Like you can't wear an opposing jersey certain sections, and they're at Amalie in the playoffs or something like that. But I think really the biggest reason is they just want Canes fans to fill their barn. They don't. I mean, who would want a bunch of Rangers fans filling your barn in the playoffs?
Me. I want it.
I mean, I do too. Like, I mean, it's easier for me to go down to Carolina than go to MSG. But at the same time, it's like I kind of do get it, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I see here Thomas said if we want to go to a game, he lives in Charlotte, you can get us tickets. Hey, if there's I know they released the whole second round schedule, but I don't remember exactly what days it was. If there's a weekend game, like a Saturday game in Carolina, I'll make the drive up to North Carolina. We can go see the game together.
The weekend game in Carolina is this Saturday.
Hey,
I'll be in Carolina I'll be in North Carolina this Saturday.
Oh, you know what? My couch is getting delivered on Saturday, so I can't.
Yeah,
I would have actually done it too, Thomas. That's the funniest thing. MC Sports. I don't think Rempe could even grow a beard. He did have a quote before the playoffs started. He said, "I'm going to be the only one out there without facial hair," because he knows deep down that he can't grow facial hair because he's just a kid. Yeah. Carolina is our house. They just borrowed all year. We talked about it last stream. There's a couple of teams that when we play them, it's just MSG2. And like I said, my big three are Carolina, Florida, and Arizona. There's always more Rangers fans there. I don't count the Devils and the Islanders because they're geographically they're so
in the
close.
metro area, yeah.
Yeah. But, when we're talking like cross country, Carolina, Florida, Arizona, always so many Rangers fans. Even Tampa, too. I've been to a couple of Lightning versus Rangers games down here, like living near Tampa, and there have been a lot of Rangers fans. When Washington, too.
Washington.
When I was at Game 3 this year, Lightning versus Panthers, I just encountered a couple of people just wearing Rangers jerseys. And I was like, hey, I'm a Rangers fan too. I was wearing my New Orleans Saints shirt because I didn't feel like getting like yelled at by Lightning fans. But I was like, hey, I'm a Rangers fan too. Like, nice to have you here. We're taking over and we're not even playing. Yeah, like you said, Rangers fans travel well. It's not even that we just travel well. It's just that a lot of New Yorkers like to move down south. Like me, for example, I'm in Florida now, but I'll always be a Rangers fan. And anytime the Rangers are in Tampa, I'm there. So, yeah, like 80% Rangers fans.
Yeah, that Arizona game was crazy. It was loud. Sounded like MSG.
Yeah, it was actually ridiculous. But I don't know. We're like 38 minutes away from game time. I'm about ready to wrap up, Will. I got to make some lunch or something before.
I need to use the bathroom. So.
Yeah, so we'll wrap this up really quickly right now. But before we do, Will, I'll give my prediction first. I think Tony went wild. He said it was going to be a 4-3. That's a lot of goals scored with two very good defensive teams. So I'm going to go a little less You know what? 2-1 overtime. Rangers win. Overtime goal. Guess who scores it?
I'm going to say Panarin.
Adam Fox.
Okay. I can see that too.
And
I'm going to go.
The first goal is going to be scored by Lafreniere.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to go with 3-2.
Okay.
The games at MSG in 2022 that I can remember, I think they were a little bit higher scoring than the ones in Carolina. So I'm going to go 3-2.
Okay.
I'm going to say Zibanejad has a power play goal. I think he's going to open the scoring. I kind of want to go off the board for one, but I don't at the same time.
Well, let me cut you off really quick because I see people are starting to leave their predictions too. Everyone right now, while we're wrapping up and giving ours, leave your predictions in the comment section. I'll pull them up as we're talking.
And then that was good. That gave me some time to think about it. I'm gonna go with Cooley. No. Kako. I'm gonna go with Kako.
We always love a Kako goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kako.
Scores.
And then I'm gonna agree with you on one of them. I'm gonna go with Lafreniere as well.
Let's go.
Trocheck, assisted by Lafreniere and Panarin. Trocheck.
I respect that.
Yeah. I think he's gonna step up in a big way like he did last series again this series.
Yeah. It's just so hard to figure out what I think the series is gonna look like. Schnazzy agrees with me here. But because yes, the Rangers special teams is so good, but so is Carolina's. We have the third best power play, but they have the best penalty kill. So it's I think we're going to score a lot of power play goals, but then I think we won't because their penalty kill is so good.
Their penalty kill is just so aggressive too, and I feel like the Rangers kind of struggle with. If the Rangers want to win this series, in my opinion, I think they have to score a lot of those greasy goals. You got to get in tight, laying in the crease, stuff like that. Because special teams, I don't think the Rangers special teams is going to be able to beat the Carolina's aggressive penalty kill. And in the regular season, it was kind of like that too when the Rangers were on the power play against Carolina.
We'll see. Time will tell. We're 35 minutes away. Give me the parlay of the day, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
I'm going to give a real parlay this time just because I know we do. Okay. I'm going to do two. I'll do two.
I need to hear the word Igor Shesterkin anytime goal scorer.
All right, we're going to go with here's the real one. Real one first.
The real one, okay.
We're going to go with Panarin over shots, however many, shots.
It's probably
over.
It's probably 4.5.
I'm going to go with the over.
I'll check. Give me the rest of the legs while I peep my app.
I am going to say Fox anytime power play point. I think that because I did think that Zibanejad was going to score on the power play, and I think Fox gets a point on that. Okay. So over on the power play points, and then Igor over in saves because Carolina is that team where they're going to get a lot of shots off from the perimeter. They shoot from everywhere, so I'm going to take the over in his saves. Now for my actual, what did you say?
It's over 3.5 for Panarin shots, and that's a plus 115. I hate that we're Vegas hates us, and they just keep saying that we're not going to do good.
I think it's really just how it's getting talked about. When you look at it analytically, and that's what a lot of people look at these days. You're gonna take the Carolina Hurricanes in the series because they're a lot sexier. They're a lot sexier than the Rangers in that department, and obviously they're a defensive powerhouse too. But I can see why.
I said the word "sexy" a lot on this stream.
I know we did. I like it.
But okay, give me that joke parlay. It's not.
Here's the real parlay.
It's entirely serious. Everything I was about to say.
We're gonna go with Matt Rempe, anytime goal scorer.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Barclay Goodrow, anytime shorthanded goal scorer.
Okay, I don't know if that's a bet, but we'll make it work.
Let's say it is. In my head, it is because I'm delusional.
It'll happen.
Igor Shesterkin over in goals. He's scoring 2 today.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's not even anytime.
So what's happening is the Rangers, it's going to be a delayed penalty. And,
No.
Somehow, some way on a delayed penalty, Igor Shesterkin scores. Just somehow they just don't think he touches the puck or anything, and he scores.
Okay, we're getting bold with this one.
Yeah,
This is
and
gonna be a
then
little
he scores an empty net goal. That's my prediction.
You know what? I respect it. My parlay is Igor Shesterkin anytime hat trick.
Now we're getting bold.
Matt Rempe. What's it called? The Gordie Howe hat trick. Matt Rempe's gonna have a goal,
I like it.
and a fight. And lastly, it's only a 3-leg parlay, is going to be Jonathan Quick anytime 5 assists.
Oh, dude. Okay, you know what? I agree with you on that. Actually,
skate. He's gonna play defense today.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Actually,
that's my parlay.
I like it. I like your parlay, Eric.
Lastly, there's a fourth. It's changed. This is an ever adapting parlay going on. Out of nowhere, Matt Zuccarello is gonna storm onto the ice and record not 1, not 2, but 6 fights.
Oh, wow. Matt Zuccarello, the fighter. Wow. You're getting bold. That's a lot bolder than mine.
Coming back with a vengeance, let me tell you.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And then for those that are going to listen on the radio, it's going to be over 5.5 mistakes by Sam Rosen.
Wow. I'd take the under on that one.
I don't know. But we're done joking around. I got to eat some food and stuff before this game starts. But to everyone that joined us today on the live stream, we appreciate it. We like hanging out with you guys, talking Rangers. Saw a lot of familiar faces here. Saw a lot of new names. If you are new and you enjoyed the show, make sure that you hit that like, you subscribe, and you ring that bell so you don't miss notification. Again, like I always say, after this stream ends, continue to just drop comments on the video, because throughout the game, me and Will be texting in our little Fireside Rangers group chat, but we also like to continue to hear your thoughts and your reaction to everything going on. So we'll be checking those throughout the game. And then, lastly, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. We got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got Twitter, and we post a lot of good content over there. So if you guys would do us a favor and check those out, and if you like, maybe hit that follow button. We'd appreciate it.
And if you want live tweets during the game, just follow me on William Cohen. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not very active on Twitter. I'll post every once in a while, but Will, you can see his Twitter handle up there. But yeah, happy Sunday, and have a good one, and let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers. Dang, I thought you were going to wait a little bit longer. Sorry.
You know what? I tricked you. All right, there's Roderick with his prediction. We got a couple more. All right, peace out, everybody.